Welcome to the Social Good Conferences. These are conversations for social good. Today, we're going to be talking about human rights and lots of topics that relate to the importance of real estate and development in creating places of safety and security. I'm super excited to have this diverse individual join us today, Rose Garcia. She is phenomenal. She has an amazing life story, but she's also just a tremendous human rights advocate in many different communities. And that's why I'm excited to have her here on the conferences today to talk to us about her life, her work, and how she helps people. So, Rose, thank you so much for joining.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor. Thank you so much.
You work with lots of different people, but your specialty is real estate, and you love to get deals done, help people get into homes. Talk to us a little bit more about your career.
So I'm 23 years in the business. I actually started many years before that. I interned for an aunt of mine at the age of 19. She was an accomplished real estate agent, still is. Once I interned for her, I kind of got a love for the business, but then I went to school and did other things and got into finance. And in my mid-20s, found myself back in the real estate field, but on the finance side. I was doing mortgages and finance for homeowners until the big 0809 crash. And then when that happened, I'm like, I'm never going back. I'm going to stick to the real estate side, which is acquisitions and sales. And that's how I found myself in that part of the business. And honestly, it became it's a labor of love. I love making dreams come true. I love helping folks achieve financial success. It seems more of a passion versus a job, to be honest with you.
That's awesome. You know, there's lots of different reasons why people are out there, why they spend that time to work. And it seems like you have a fantastic mission here. And it's kind of complicated sometimes in Los Angeles and the California area, but you seem to do things to make people's lives, I don't know, just better, Rose. So why do you work?
I actually feel like it's not work. I mean, I'm born and raised in Los Angeles. So I know the neighborhoods, and I grew up, I lived here my whole life since the 70s to date myself, but I've seen the ever change of this amazing city, and have learned how to help folks navigate through our city and where to help them land. I mean, our city is so multicultural and so diverse, and we have so many little pockets of beautifulness throughout LA. It's not just the Hollywood sign and all the fun stuff. There's so many awesome neighborhoods throughout our amazing city. And most of my buyers, a lot of my buyers are folks that aren't from here. They come here from other places, and my job is to help safely put them into spots that I know they'll be able to thrive and have a better quality of life. So I kind of feel that the work that I do is not work. It's like a partnership with my clients. I get invited to the baby showers, to the weddings, to all that stuff, and they become a big part of my life, as I have been a part of theirs, and attaining these homeownership goals. So yeah, I kind of feel like it's some neighborhood good doing, and some partnership. They become like family versus just clients, and just giving back to my city and taking care of folks who want to be a part of this amazing city. It's a passion. It's not a job, for sure.
You've got all these cool years of experience, and there's some areas that I was just curious, if you could give us some insights. I mean, you are a phenomenal presence out on stage. I've had the opportunity to witness you now for multiple years and see you just rev up all kinds of crowds of people. How do you do it? How do you channel all this energy? It's just amazing.
I've always been a boisterous, loud personality. And, before I was on the Real L Word, I was an avid club goer and partier, and, was doing MC stuff with all my DJ friends. A lot of them now who are super popular and out there on the big stages themselves. So through the popularity of the Real L Word, a lot of people started asking me to do it all across the country. And as I became, financially successful, I started saying, hey, I'm going to do this pro bono and give back to my community. People seem to enjoy my crazy antics and all that, So a lot of it is more philanthropy work. Like I give back to the community and do it. I don't charge, 99% of the folks that ask me to do this. I do it because I love our community. I feel bringing that level of good energy is good and keeps the vibes going.
Rose, you have this long career in real estate and helping people. And, I like to look at the macro view, right, of the outcomes of your work. And you're really helping create safety and security for the whole community, but also for the individuals, right, as we get more excited home buyers in. Can you talk to me about this? I mean, tell me a little bit more.
Part of the work that I do coincides with a lot of, financial security and safety with folks. Most people think about when they're buying a home, it's like the American dream. It's like, part of what we're supposed to do as grownups. But I think in this ever-changing financial climate that we're in, it's probably one of the easiest ways for folks to be able to create some sort of retirement safety. Let me give you an example. Someone who's like a nurse or who's a police officer or who's a teacher, they're kind of capped at a certain amount of income, right? There's only so much that they can do, but they love what they do. They love serving their community. They love teaching kids. They love saving lives. It's like, that's their thing, right? That's their passion. How do we secure financial security for that individual? Probably through home ownership. It's probably the only way they can do it, right? That's the way they can achieve that wealth or that way of, when they retire. If they own 2 or 3 homes and those homes are paid off in those 30 years that they, worked, and they have 3 homes that are paid off, well, hey, they're collecting rent, and that's supplementing their 401k and supplementing their Social Security, and they have a better quality of life. And they can do that without having hundreds upon hundreds of thousands of dollars in the bank. The regular person, the hardworking person, the backbone of our country, the backbone of our communities, to be able to themselves achieve that wealth that they see on TV that they feel is not achievable. It is. I've done it for a lot of people.
Rose, you are such an advocate for human rights. I've gone to these events. I've seen you up on stage. I've seen you lift people up of all different kinds of walks of life. I have to just call you out. You are a mega human rights advocate.
The more you give, the more you get back. I really have seen that in my life personally. So I do feel that if it's someone that needs help or needs guidance or needs support, especially within our community, I'm there, no question. I wish that when I was younger that we had more safe spaces and more places to go. And I feel that it's kind of interesting because after COVID, we've seen to see a big depletion in that for our community. So if, there's anyone that needs help with an event or needs help with creating a safe space, and they call me and ask me to contribute without hesitation, unless I'm doing something that's, I can't get out of, I'm 100% there and will support.
I wish I could see more folks in our community doing more like you, Rose, because you really are, out there a lot, helping so many people. So when we look at, kind of a case study, what would you tell us about, some of your experiences, working with the folks that you have?
I mean, I work with a big, sort of plethora of folks, from the, high net worth, all cash investor who, can buy anything and everything and looking to just, amass more properties for their portfolio, to the first time home buyer who literally is scraping the bucket with everything they can to make it happen, or even borrowing money from, a parent or a relative. So it goes from here to there, from the gamut of folks that I work with, and all of them have tremendous value and in my career and making it what it is today. And I treat, the $100 million buyer the same way I would treat the $1,000 buyer. They both get the same amount of time and attention and detail to making their goals achievable. What I've learned as of late in California, as much as people feel that it's unachievable for them to be able to own because our prices are, on the high side, and inflation and those things, it still is possible. It still is a dream that's within reach. You just have to work with the right team. You have to be able to have a plan in place. A lot of folks feel that, wow, I had a buyer recently who, was referred to me by someone else, and it wasn't quite there for them to make the move right now. But we put a plan in place, and in the next 24 months, they're going to be able to buy a house and they're going to be able to achieve that goal. And I think that more professionals in our business, as opposed to saying, oh, you don't qualify, see you later. It's like, no, if you do this in the next 2 years, you can get here. If you do this in the next 3 years, you can be here. If you do this in the next X amount of years, or if you were to do that, and give them a plan to be able to achieve that success. It's not only our fiduciary obligation, it's the right way to do business, because everyone can do it. I promise you when I say that. Everyone can own a home. If not in California, definitely in the United States, especially since we feel that Social Security might not be something that we can lean on in the coming, decades, that it might not be here when you and I are ready to collect that check, right? So we have to make sure that we're in a position that we can take care of ourselves and not count on anybody other than our moves to get us to safety and to make sure that we have financial security in the future.
You speak the financial truths that people need to hear, right? When I look at all the different ways that people can interact with you, you're such a presence out there online, fun to watch. What do you say? What are the top ways that people should interact with you after this?
They can reach me on Instagram. I'm super active on Instagram. My Instagram is at The Real Shot Kala with an A. I post a lot of stories, try to share as much about my life, whether it's the real estate side or the social side or the personal side. That's the best way to reach me. If anybody's wants to reach me for any business inquiries or insight, they can click on my link tree on my Instagram as well, and they can contact me via website or through my email on there as well.
Rose, you are just phenomenal. I've asked you at different points, to contribute to the social good movement, and you always have, and I appreciate that. And this particular piece is super important because we're trying to bring examples of people who are real life, and you're real life. I mean, you are the real shot caller. So, but this is important for us to see that it is possible. You're here in California, you know the markets, you've been doing this for a long time, and you're successful at real estate and development. But you're also successful at coaching people, right, on how to also get in that game too if they want to, which is super cool. So Rose, thank you for being a part of this, and I really appreciate it. And if there's anything that you could share with us just about kind of your vision in the future, please, I can't wait to share more, because you really are one of those people that are out there fighting for human rights. So thank you again for joining us today.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for attending the Social Good Conferences. These have been Conversations for Social Good. They've been presented by Tomasito Media and Buddytown Consulting.